Good morning, everybody. Hey, welcome to Wednesday, January 13th. And we've got some, not much in the way of earnings today and not the way much in the economics. But hey, Thursday and Friday, uh, numbers are starting to pour in. So we'll have some things for you coming up soon. But there's always something to talk about when it comes to the economy and what's happening in the marketplace. And we do have a few earnings coming out, and we'll talk about those and more when Dave joins us next.
5.7 am Sting and the police are there. Morning Dave is here. We're at 8:42 here, 18 before 9. Find out what the Sam Hill's going on with your money this time around up on Wall Street. Things can be confusing. We hope we sort it out a little bit for you, although every once in a while we're a bit confused too because things don't go the way they expect to go sometimes. Let's check in with Statler Financial Services' very own Phillip Statler and see what his take on things is this morning. Phillip, good morning. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Dave. Doing well. It's a little chilly this morning, but I guess it's better than a major heat wave.
Yeah, I think so. I'd probably take it cool more than I'd take it hot right now, given electric bills. But I was telling you before we went on the air this morning, it was 52 degrees, which wasn't that bad. But boy, I went out to feed the stray cats, and it felt like in the 30s because the humidity was up this morning. So you kind of feel worse than it really was.
Yeah, that's right. It did feel a little cooler than what the temperature gauge said it was. But hey, it was refreshing. I took the dog out this morning, so good things. And yesterday, not a bad day, but I'm not so sure we're going to follow through today, Dave.
Yeah, it's kind of going the other direction. Setting the table this morning, the Dow yesterday was up by 60. NASDAQ had a pretty good day, up 36. And the Standard & Poor's up by $1.50, so it was all green ink, just not a running ton of it. We took kind of a turn south overnight. Not really 100% sure what it was that triggered it, but starting about 2 a.m., the futures started falling, and it got us into red ink this morning. Some of it might have been the fact that the big pharma people are saying, whoa, this idea of taking all the doses of the vaccines that we've got stockpiled and just dumping them in. They put out a press release saying, people, do what you want, but do watch out for it. That 28-day pause between doses on the vaccine is kind of important, so they were saying, watch out. That might have put a little bit of a crimp in the style for a bit. I couldn't see anything else of any great size.
No, I mean, the only other thing I can think of is, Pence said he's not doing anything as far as, the 25th Amendment, and Pelosi and the House is evidently going to vote on the impeachment, impending impeachment today. And that could have something to do with it. But again, I think it's probably just lack of economic news right now, lack of earnings news right now. That's really, we're in that fluff stage where there's not much going on, so it doesn't take much to make a change.
That's true. We are into those doldrums time, and sometimes when you've got unsettled times like this, absent any stimulus from the news cycle, the traders say, well, nothing better to do, let's sell something, and that might very well be the case. We did get one bit of news out of the government this morning, and that was the Consumer Price Index. Month-to-month inflation from December up 0.1% once you take those little electives we can all live without, like food and energy. The overall, though, was up 0.4%, and both of those are within the range of expectations.
Yeah, those were right in line with what everybody expected those numbers to come in at. And so not sure. I don't know that I saw much activity on the futures when those numbers hit. They've kind of stayed the same this morning. Actually, when I looked at them first thing this morning, they were slightly green, but they obviously have gone to a tinge of red now.
Yeah, the one change that I saw that gave me some indication is after the CBI figures came out, that dropping of the bond, that increase in the bond yield suddenly leveled off, and we kind of stayed steady. Meaning, looks like at least a few of the investors are saying, "Well, let's put a little bit of money into bonds and park it for a minute and see what happens." And the big money guys don't know what to think. That just kind of leaves the rest of us on the sidelines saying we don't know what to think either.
Well, that's true. I mean, that sometimes they have a different methodology than other people, and it's not a big change in the actually the 10-year right now. I'm still concerned about how fast it's run up in the yield. But and I did read an article that kind of said, hey, it's, the bond yields and the bond trading is really outside the trader's purview now. It's more based on what the Fed's doing.
And that's true. The Fed is buying bonds again like it's going out of style. The only other thing that I really had was kind of an interesting sidelight. There was an oil inventory report that came out yesterday that showed our oil inventories were down, and I'm noticing on my pre-market trading a lot of the energy stocks are getting re-rated up and getting bought more. So some of the things we've been saying, once we get up close to 50 and now above $50 a barrel, our domestic energy industry is looking a little bit brighter anyway.
It really is, and that's a good news for that industry and that sector. The other thing that I saw was Class A truck orders hit the fourth highest month in history. And that's the big trucks. That's the freight liners that carry stuff for you and me to the stores, so we can go buy it.
I was going to ask what Class A is. That's out of my purview. That's the semi-trailers.
Yep. It's not A. It's 8 in the number. Class 8.
Okay.
Yep. So I found that interesting that they're year over year. I think I saw they're up like 150% on orders.
Cool. That indicates a leading indicator that's probably good news.
That is, and the article also pointed out there's still a shortage of truck drivers.
Need a job? Go
That's
drive
right.
it.
Learn how to drive a truck.
Got some company news for us this morning that might give us an indication in advance of earnings season starting tomorrow?
So we have one earnings in the home builder sector, but before we do that, let's look at a couple retail updates. We had Urban Outfitters and Target came out with their same-store sales numbers, not their earnings yet, but their same-store sales numbers for the month. And so let's look at that. Urban Outfitters, they're under some pressure this morning because they, their same-store sales were off pretty significantly, and they're trading down today about 9.25%, and they're getting some changeover in CEOs also, so that's not helping them. Target, their same-store sales rose. Get this, 17.2%.
Woo!
Yeah, that was compared to the 4.2% they were expecting. So not a bad deal for Target, and they're not getting much of a bump this morning, but it's but they're also sitting at their 52-week high. So that's probably why.
I was thinking, given the news that we've gotten out of Target and the interim updates we've gotten from them, I think the success of their curbside pickup and e-commerce might already be priced into them already.
And that's probably true. That's probably true. That stuff's already priced in. So the earnings report we do have today is KB Homes. They had a good quarter. They earned $1.12 versus the 93 they were expected. Revenue topped the forecast as well. Their condition, they're looking at their conditions and they quote say they're robust right now. So they're looking at higher revenues for the coming year and higher earnings for the coming year they've put out there. So, interesting slight for them. They're up about 5.5% this morning.
Cool. Good news for the one report that we get. I'll take good news because we could stand to turn the corner 45 minutes before we open. I'm looking at a little bit of red ink. How's it doing so far on your instant tick?
It is still red ink, Dave. We got the Dow down again, just a little over 1/10%. The S&P 500 is down about 0.2, as well as the NASDAQ down a little over 0.2. So, you call that a slight tinge of red right now. On the commodities front, silver is trading down about 1/3% this morning, but gold is up 0.75%, and then crude oil is up 0.75% also to $53.61 a barrel.
And that we're starting to get into the range where we can start complaining about the prices.
Yeah, we are. I'm thinking that based on this, we're going to see. I feel like we're going to see gasoline prices start to go up to probably the $2.30 to $2.50 a gallon range right now.
That's a possibility, and that starts getting up to the point where it hits my personal maximum. I'm happy with $53 a barrel, and we can stay there.
Yeah, exactly. Why don't you tell those guys in Saudi Arabia and stuff that, hey, we're done now.
Yeah, let's pass the word on to all the heavy hitters that we've got on our auto dial list. Overseas markets, mixed bag on the Asian rim. No great trend there. Europe is off slightly this morning, midway through their trading day in both British and German markets. We make fun of it and giggle periodically, but we're talking about the security of a person's retirement here, and it's serious stuff. If you're worried about whether or not your retirement income is secure, that's going to take an extra pair of eyes. You can provide those eyes, Phillip. How do I make an appointment with you to take advantage of them?
You know, Dave, it's easy. All they have to do is give us calls 863-382-0037. And let me just add, if you're not worried about your portfolio, then that's concerning to me, because I think that everybody should get a second set of eyes looking at their portfolio to make sure that they don't have too much risk in that portfolio heading into the economic times that we are right now. So a great time for a financial x-ray. And then join us this weekend for the Statler Financial Radio Show, 6 a.m. and noon on Saturday, 10 a.m. Sunday morning on Highlands News Talk 730.
All righty, and back here again tomorrow morning with the beginnings of earnings season.
That's right. We got some big numbers coming out tomorrow. So y'all hang tight. Next 2 days, we got some of the big banking numbers coming out. So you'll want to be tuned in for those. And I'll catch you tomorrow, Dave.
Thank you, Phillip. Appreciate it. It's 105.7 Light FM and Statler Financial Services. Phillip Statler.
Hey, everybody, let me just say thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you tuning in today. I know there wasn't a lot to talk about today, but hopefully Dave and I gave you a little stuff to think about as we hit the middle of the week. Take care, and I will look forward to speaking to you again tomorrow. Bye now.